The reason is the world's filled with like, if you sell that, it will sell really well. That's why when you see people selling your course or whatever, right, they need to make it seem so simple so people would buy into it. But that's like 90% of internet today.
Hey guys, welcome to the Success Clues podcast. This is called Success Clues because success leaves clues, and the smartest people learn from people that are ahead of them. Most people learn from their own mistakes, and stupid people already have all the answers. Today, we're joined by an absolute legend of the game, Shan Hanif, CEO of a company called Genflow, which we're going to tell you all about. But $100 million in revenue valuation. Before we jump in, I wanted to give a huge shout out to Scripe, who sponsor this podcast. Now, I actually approached Scripe to sponsor the podcast because I'm such a big fan of the tool they've built. Scripe is an all-in-one LinkedIn content assistant that will even build your strategy for you. It's like having a strategist, a content writer, and an analyst in your pocket. I use it to save 10 hours every week when I'm creating content. First, I review my content performance using their in-depth analytics, which neatly shows me what content types are performing the best. Then I use their inspiration feature to find viral posts from other creators which will inspire my own. And whenever I have ideas, I upload recordings of my calls I've had with my team, personal voice notes, or even YouTube videos I've created. And this is where Scripe is worth its weight in gold. It's analysed all of my previous content to get my tone down to a T. And then it uses the sources I've shared to write engaging and optimised content. And for just £1.16 a day, it is an absolute no-brainer. Click the link in the show notes to get 20% off your first month. Thank you, Scribe.
Revenue, yeah. So first of all, yeah, thanks for having me on. Obviously, we've worked together before and know each other, so I thought it'd be cool to sit down and speak to you. Yeah, I guess in the agency game started 9 years ago, and we've done $100 million in actual revenue for the business. So that's just revenue. Obviously, we are profitable. We make profit every year, but 100 million in actual services. So that's people paying you for projects, retainers, all that good stuff. So at the moment, we're averaging between $2 to $3 million a month revenue for the agency, which comes from like 60 plus like clients doing different things.
And within that, you've also built 70 seven-figure businesses, I saw, which is
yeah, because I guess our model is very different to like most people, because we work with primarily our clients are like individuals who are like creators, but then we help them like build their businesses. But a lot of them obviously start with us not being a seven-figure creator business, and then we have helped them get there. So yeah, I guess we've had that level of success again and again, from like not necessarily zero, but 0 or 100K to like $1 million plus. And that's kind of like our model basically.
Yeah, do you want to give people like a quick overview of the model, what Genflow is, how it actually operates?
Yeah. I guess when it came to us as an agency, we do probably like 15 plus services. So everything marketing, from digital marketing, ads, emails, funnels, everything from completely opposite side, manufacturing products. So that's like us design, manufacturing, warehousing, 3PL, like the full thing, e-commerce, Shopify. We do TikTok shop, we do Amazon, we do digital products, which is the biggest part of the business. So everything you see online in terms of courses, communities, we've been doing for about 9 years. I was one of the first people in the world selling a digital product online, like packaging content to sell it. So yeah, as an agency, that's what we do. So essentially we'll work with somebody, help them do any of those things. I'm a big believer of like trying to be like the only agency a company needs versus like your one service that you offer. And that has allowed us to scale, because the same clients over time, we've managed to then book more and more, do different things with, because as the relationship builds, you can do more things. So yeah, that's what we do. Today, our clients are people like, you may know, like Chris Williamson, one of the biggest podcasts in the world, Grace Beverley, who's obviously massive in the UK. Historically, I helped like Logan Paul with his clothing brand Maverick, which is kind of like paused because Prime did so well. And so many others. Iman Gaji, I've been working with him for about nine years now, something, since the very beginning. He does lots of other things as well. And on the other side, it's brands. So we work with brands. So we worked with Gymshark to help them launch like a modest collection with a creator of ours, Liana Deeb. and lots of like different brands to fitness creators. With brands, we are very like bespoke, like niche agency for brands. So we're only working fashion and beauty, and we would help brands who are looking for certain type of like fashion beauty creators. We like put those campaigns together, the content together, etc. So we kind of work more direct with those brands versus like your classic big agency that's going to get 100 creators to do a big campaign. We're more like, here's 3 creators and we're going to do a very cool thing with them, and it's very like partnership driven. So we do that with Dior and like massive brands. So yeah, that's what Genflow does today. The team is I believe it's like 140. Changes all the time because we use a lot of like freelancers and stuff. And we have offices in London, New York, LA, and Dubai overall. Very remote team, but I guess we have these satellite offices. So yeah, that's the thing. And I've been doing it for, I believe, 9 years this year. Yeah.
Super cool. And it wasn't always this way, right? Because you actually started the business completely from scratch.
Yeah.
I even read you got D's at school. How does a guy go from getting D's in his GCSEs A-levels to $100 million business?
It was even worse actually. So I was at my parents' last week, and I actually found my results to look at it. So, so I was trying to remember what it actually was. I took photos of everything as well to make some content from it. So I guess in GCSEs it was like a couple of C's and all like D's and E's, and in A levels I got like E in maths, E in economics, and I got a B, which was in Urdu because I knew the language. So like, yeah, bottom of the bottom. I went to Coventry University. It's like number 96 in the rankings, one of the worst places to go to. But I studied accounting. So yeah, I guess how is always had this thing to like learn things myself and just do stuff. I've never been the type to like be too concerned with like the negative of something. Even when I became an accountant, basically I got my ACCA, which is how you become qualified. The day I became qualified accountant, I gave my notice and I left my job. And I had no money. I think didn't have enough to basically survive. I just didn't care. I was like, I'm just gonna do my own thing. I'll figure it out. So I've got this like thing of like, it'll just work out if I keep pushing, keep trying, and just it's then like positive mindset. I look at the positive side of something versus negative. So I think that's been the core of like the transition to, I guess, this stage.
Where did the idea for Genflow come from?
It started off a little bit different. So I was a big user of using like forums in the early days. So I guess for people that don't know life before social media, it was like Web 1.0 is what the same behavior you have on social media used to be on forums. There's a fitness forum called bodybuilding.com. There's Cura, obviously a bit more underground is like 4chan, etc. So like as a kid, I would come home from school, like dial-up internet, and you can't wait to get on the forums to see what people are saying. Just the way today you open your phone and you're looking at your feed to say like, what's going on in the world? Like, I want to know. And that's your natural reaction to it. And what I mean by that is the shit that you're into. So I was into hip hop. I couldn't wait to see when the album is dropping, who's producing what song, and people would be like speculating, or what movie's coming out, what's going to happen. TV shows. I remember Prison Break had just come out in the US, and in the UK, it was like on forums, people are talking about it to be like, oh, is this new show out? Because there's no way to watch it. There's no Netflix, there's no nothing. So anyway, that internet culture basically existed on forums. The idea I came from was I got the iPhone. So I was buying and selling a lot of stuff as growing up. So when the iPhone came out in like, I can't remember the year, like 2006 maybe, the first, they called it iPhone 3, I think, like the one that actually like connected to the internet and stuff. Because I was making money online in those days, I was buying and selling stuff, I had money, so I bought one from the US, like imported it, and I had the iPhone. And I remember then it wouldn't connect to like data. The only way you could use it was through like internet, like, and that's it. And that is when I started to like be like, oh, what's this like smartphone? Like, what can we do? So the idea came initially was like, how can I make the same behavior on like forums and do it like in a social media app? I chased that for 2 years. When I left my job the idea was I'm going to build social, then e-commerce. But in the end, the social wasn't going to work. So I just focused on the commerce side, meaning I'm going to help people sell stuff online. So that's when the idea began. We kind of fell into more of an agency model, because I realized the opportunity was to go to like at the very top of the industry versus the bottom. Because I felt like I'm early, I can convince the biggest people in the world to be like, you should be selling content. What are you doing? So one of the first people who was a major success was Grace Beverly in 2016. She was at Oxford studying. And I just reached out to her saying, hey, you're creating this fitness content. She had like 16,000 followers or something. Why didn't you try and like sell it? That was the idea of like, let's create like a digital guide, a product to sell. And that was one of the first major successes. I did like about 4 or 5 before that. That was in 2016. So I guess it came out of me chasing like the idea of like, I think people online should sell stuff. I think I'm the guy to help them do that. Why did I think I could do that? Because I had, since I was a kid, basically been buying and selling stuff on eBay and Amazon. So I kind of knew like online e-commerce without calling it that. And what you do with the eBay listing, you have to make a really good title.
Yeah.
You have to write a really good description. You have to have good pictures, which is the essence of e-commerce to this day, right? If you're what a landing page is. Yeah. And, you know, so like it's just been something that I'm very naturally have always done. So even then in the eBay days, I was curious to be like, what do I call my product? So I would sell a lot of makeup just because. So I've always been good at finding like the white space in the market. So on eBay in like 2006-07, if you search like makeup, there was like nothing on there. So I was like, oh, surely like women are going to come and search, someone's going to want to buy this. So I started importing it from China and started selling random makeup stuff like brushes, this or whatever. Then even down to the titles, even those days, you're thinking, what do I call it? You have to call it like high quality brush, you know, A+++, like whatever worked in those days. So it's what you do even today from a YouTube title. So that was just ingrained in me because I'm like, oh, if I make a better title, it's going to come higher or people would click it. And even those days in eBay listings, they showed you the number of views. So I'd wake up the next day, you like press refresh and you're like, oh, 7 more views on the listing, but I didn't make a sale. So then curiously, you're like, let me try to change it.
Yeah.
One of the things I did that worked was when I changed my listing to say, I had a shop and I'm not making enough sales, so now I'm selling it online. People started to buy.
Interesting.
Because I think in those days, people were so curious to be like, why is this person selling this online? Because it wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, to fast forward, so it's like I knew that. So when I saw people online, I'm like, this creator doesn't know what I know. So I can build the website, I can do this. So in the early days, all I was doing was creating WordPress websites for different creators and selling PDFs at the back of it. And that's essentially how we like launched or really got going and started making money. So yeah, that's like the true essence of it. Even to this day, that's all I really do is technically we're like almost buying content and selling it to others. So that's always been my skill, is like the arbitrage between like two parties. Even if you don't call it that, you don't think of it like that. Ultimately, I go to a creator today, they're doing something amazing organically. I'm like, hey, let's package this and let's sell it to the world. And in that, there's so many like whatever buzzwords to call it. But the true essence of it is like, I know that guy would buy something from that guy and I'm going to make it happen. Down to even physical products the same now. So if that's Chris Williamson, he's, you know, top 5 podcast in the world. If he's talking about all these topics to self-develop, can we not make a brand which is going to like, you know, monetize that? Or ultimately all these people want to improve themselves mentally. Let's make a nootropic-based product. But it's the same arbitrage between like two parties. So at the core of it, I think that's where a lot of people go wrong in the agency model, that they're not really like have an angle of like, I have a certain skill that I'm trying to do with my agency. It's more like opportunistic that, oh, this AI agent is a big thing. I'm going to jump on it and that's going to be my thing. It's like more of a method to make money, not like what do I enjoy and it's like my true skill, because then you keep innovating in there. Because I've like evolving my model and my skill and what we can do for people, because it's something that I will always be the guy who's arbitraging between two parties. And that's been the reason to even what you said, how'd you get from like grades to like, you know, where we are today. It's mainly just that, because you're curious enough to like keep evolving yourself.
Would you say that's one of your best traits?
For sure. Yeah. It's just, it just goes without saying, because you're always like, even if I see another company doing something, naturally you're like, oh, that's interesting. How would I do the same thing? Just that.
And you mentioned it before, we worked together for a short period of time, and the thing that struck me was just like the relentless curiosity. Even at 100 million, you still got that same like raw curiosity that people have in the early days, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, there's no difference really. I think the reality is that a lot of people listening to this, you know, you think as you'll become more successful in your business, that you would almost like be doing different things, or you would like change the way you think about stuff. And the truth is it's not. And the more you actually try to be the same, the more you'll just be the same as a
You're
person.
still building the
enjoying it.
strategies. You're still looking at the
Yeah.
landing pages because that's your skill, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think what happens is that over time, you start to trust people to completely do parts of your business. And you'll end up finding good people that can help you grow a business. But in terms of what you do, it doesn't change too much. From what I've seen is people that try to change their role as CEO because what they think they should be doing, you get further away from like the things that you actually want to like enjoy and what your skill is and what makes the company great. Yeah.
I've got your revenue here for the last 8 years. 2016, 0. 2017, 150K. 2018, 2 million. And then from 2019 to 2024, 5 million, 7 million, 11 million, 14 million, 18, 23.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the journey and how you went through those different phases. But one thing I'm really interested to know is, as someone that's just getting started, how do you start signing some of the names that you sign? Because I can imagine now, right, you've got 8 years, a lot of credibility, a lot of case studies behind you. But when you were just starting, like, how are you signing some of these household names of today?
Yeah. I think just on the revenue as well, for anybody watching, you can verify it on Company's House. We haven't filed our 2024 accounts, so 23 is filed. 24 will be filed in like a month or two. So yeah, all the numbers you said, they are like real numbers on Company's House. It's not like me with Stripe screenshots or whatever. Because you're obviously going to get, even under my content still, people are like, yeah, sure, buddy. There's no way agency like makes that much or whatever. Like people don't know there's like billion-dollar agencies.
Yeah.
Like this assumption of like agency is just not a scalable model. It's a tiny thing. It's like, we have still lots of ways to go because there's others out there that are doing, way more than us. I think when it comes to clients, I think what's interesting in that journey the most when I look back at it is how fast we became a 7-figure agency. When I've like ironed it down, I think it took us 14 months from, I guess, starting to basically be doing $1 million plus in revenue. We had hit $1 million in revenue, which is quite unthinkable now when I speak to agency owners, etc. I guess if you were to try to get big people today, the number one thing would be is to stand out. And in the way you try to approach people. Because if you are, buying leads and if you are warming up inboxes and like basically just spamming people and you think it's not spam because you've used like 19 softwares to like completely personalize and do all that stuff, which sounds all great. But for you to truly stand out to someone large, you would have to like just show them something that they're not seeing themselves, and you have to give them all the detail possible. So for instance, if you were to approach a creator, so at Genflow now we help like we help all sorts of businesses. So one of the guys I had a call with yesterday, he actually owns like a small boutique creator agency in France. He's got 5 creators and essentially doing the similar to like Genflow model. But it was interesting because he had done the right thing. So like he had found someone online who basically didn't have like an online funnel and stuff. But essentially then he had approached that guy with exactly like, this is why you need to monetize. This is how you should do it. This is, basically he did the thing that I believe in. He basically ended up signing him. They launched, they sold 200 grand. He took 30% of the revenue. So basically like he's like immediately off. It's a very like consultative approach to doing something versus, you're almost like using whatever possible to, make a sale. So ultimately for me, the more personalized and care that you would show, you could almost can sign anybody. But the more you go with like the normal way, which the whole industry does, which is, get X result in Y time frame. So basically people have this thing, right? You have to have an offer. Your offer needs to sound irresistible. It needs to sound a certain way. When you're starting out, no one's going to trust you. So you got to have a money back guarantee, like all those things. Instead, you actually just have to show expertise. There's no one cares that have you worked with many clients before, whatever. That's more in your head. As an agency owner, like your job is to just show you know this shit to another level. So I interviewed someone last night for a TikTok shop role. It's a new guy. He's never had any clients. I spoke to him for 1 hour because he understands TikTok shop in full. How does he know that? He's clearly spent like many hours in like the big TikTok shop like Discords. So he knew some of the people that I know, and I know like who the big sellers are and what people are doing because I followed this stuff. But the fact that he knew that too, like we're most likely going to make him an offer to like work with us. And, he's trying to do a mini agency. I'm like, screw that, come join us, whatever. But the point is, it's got nothing to do with has he had clients before. It's his underlying knowledge. He knows it. And then obviously that's how a client will join you. Because you're like, shit, I need to work with this guy. Doesn't matter who they are.
Most people want to avoid, though, isn't it? Everyone wants like the quick hack, the secret email formula or whatever.
Yeah.
The work they don't want to do is
the reason is the world's filled with like, if you sell that, it will sell really well. That's why when you see people selling your course or whatever, right, they need to make it seem so simple so people would buy into it. But that's like 90% of internet today. That's why if I come along and say, no, well, you actually need to send a deck to somebody and actually tell them what you want to do, people are like, what? Like, no, I can't be doing that. Like, I need the new thing that's going to work. Because everyone else is saying my new thing is the way to like get clients today or whatever.
It's not sexy either, is it? Like, realistically, like
No.
Actually putting in work and drafting something that's highly personalized for a client is not the most.
But it's hard. Yeah. I think that's a lot of people think leaving their job and like starting a business is going to be like easy, but it's just so hard.
Yeah.
And even like, we're vlogging this week and the whole theme of the vlog is that like so much stuff I have to do. And it's hard. I don't want to do it, but it's my job now. I have to do it.
Yeah.
The thing of like you'll do whatever you want and it's going to be so amazing, it's just a complete made up thing. People are selling time, location, freedom or whatever, so people have sold this idea of entrepreneurship which just isn't real, but I want to do it, right? And it's hard, and it isn't your POV vlog with 7 camera angles, showing how nice it is and I'm doing my work. Like, it's not like that. Like I slept like 5 hours last night, I quickly did a workout, now I'm here. And that's actually the reality of like, it's tough. You got to keep pushing. But that's when you like build real cool shit. So so last night, an opportunity has come up for us. It is absolutely massive. So I had to call my team up at like 1 o'clock last night and I sat and discussed it. So now we'll have to make a pitch for this opportunity. And it is like, I have to find the time now to basically make this pitch. So going back to like the deck, we're going to have to make like the best pitch ever to see if we can like, land this opportunity. Maybe not, but the problem is like you just have to do it. Or once I had an opportunity to pitch like all the Kardashians, I got on a plane, got to LA, from the airport went straight to the house. Once I was done with the house, going back on the airplane, flew back, and but it had to be done.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing of like opportunity comes right there. But the guy, the French guy I was speaking to yesterday, he was telling me about he's got these opportunities, but I should really stick to my niche. And I was like, the biggest lesson I would say is when opportunities are in front of you, you should do everything possible to like grab it.
Do what other people aren't willing to do.
100%. Yeah. And that's like at every level. So the other guy isn't willing to make a good deck. The other guy isn't willing to write a good email. The other guy isn't willing to, interact with you on social media for like a week or two before pitching you. If you it's so easy for an agency owner to work with big clients now because everyone else is lazy, that if you just put a bit more work in, I think you would stand out.
Stands out 100%. So you signed those first few clients. You mentioned that you got to $1 million in revenue quite quickly. What were some of the like tangible, tactical things you did to go from 0 to $1 million in just a few months?
Yeah, I guess tactical, remembering a few things. So I think as soon as like it started to work, you signed some clients and success is coming, I did a very good job of thinking, okay, who else is like in that space? So let's say I worked with a fitness creator. I quickly was like, who others are very like this client? So I'll be able to use this client to get them. So let's say today, you have got a client and they're like a Shopify like brand. You should immediately be like, what other 5 brands are literally identical to this brand? And I'm going to approach them. So I tactically was basically signing carbon copy clients because I'm understanding this space more and they would believe me because I'm showing them another person like them who's getting some results with me. So that was like a tactical thing.
Like on a delivery
100%. Yeah. Because I was doing the same work. Same work for different people. I also looked internationally. So for example, if I worked with a client who's like, a UK business, let's just say if it's I'll generalize it, a supplement business, look for the same one that's in the US. Look for the same one that's in Europe because it always is. So even now if there's a a greens company. If it's AG1 in, America, there's another one in the US, there's another one in Sweden, there's another one in Germany. So I like scale like that tactic because I was like, I know this thing, I'm going to find more. And what I was trying to do was go far away enough so this company won't care that I'm working with a competitor.
Sure.
Because the other thing you have to be careful with, obviously, from the early days, loyalty has been a big thing. So obviously, if you're like working with a type of client, it's very hard to work with their competitors because it will ruin your relationship over time. So I think tactically, that's one thing that worked. So like I started working with like female fitness creators. So we went fast to like other female fitness creators in the early days, yeah.
I can imagine working with 5-10 clients doing this sort of thing is like manageable, difficult, because you're actually running entire businesses inside the agency, which is way more than a normal agent or a typical agency would do. So I can imagine running a few would be, doable. But as you get to like 20, 30, 40, 50 plus clients, you've now got a team of 140, I think you said. How do you run a business of that size? How do you run the agency?
Yeah, the very first few hires that you need in the agency space is, and I say this to when I meet agency owners as well, like someone needs to like lead your like service delivery, because that's normally the bottleneck, because you are like servicing your clients, they're all joined because of you, and then you need to go and sign new clients, and you're like chasing both things, and obviously shit's going wrong and all that stuff. So it's like and you don't, it's like, who do you trust the most and train them to become that person? I think one thing I did well in the early days was I didn't like hire that I need this person, let me go and hire that. For like whoever was working with me, I was like, you are going to be the person that's going to do this. So it's almost like we just agreed as a team that, okay, look, there's 6 of us. Here's all the stuff that needs happening in the business. Who's going to do what? And maybe, that's hard to do today or whatever. I get it. But I guess for me, I structured it like that. So like, okay, you're going to become the client's person. You're going to become the customer service person. You're going to become the person who manages all the ops. Like, I'm going to be the person who signs all the clients. So we kind of like separated. And that's how you started to manage more clients, or it was physically possible. The other thing was everyone has these problems of like clients are complaining. They're like, what we pay you, or, what are we getting for it? What are you even doing for me? All those things come up. So I was a big believer on like systemizing stuff, that let's just send an email to every client at the start of the week to say, this is what we can do for you this week. Even if they haven't asked for it, even if it's a bit made up, even if it's like whatever, let's just do it. And the good thing with my team was, and I was quite lucky, that the team have always said like yes, versus like arguing against the point, to be like, it's a waste of my time. I don't want to do it. Well, I don't think my client needs an update from me. I spoke to them last week. I only spoke to them on Friday. They don't need an email from me on Monday. So like, I didn't get too much of that. Like, I guess I'm being blessed that the team has always kind of had the belief that if I'm saying something, there must be a real reason. I don't need to second guess it. And that's, in the early days, really helped because we systemized earlier than most businesses do. Everyone uses the word system, process, or whatever, but in reality, no one actually has any good ones. And I know this because every agency I speak to, delivery is amazing, my systems are amazing, and it's like, but they're not, because if I gave you 10 more clients today, you don't know what you're doing. So that was the other early thing that allowed us to be like free of like the inner workings. But the hard year was 2019 in that journey, because we just did too many big amazing things, and that meant that we were at that breaking point, because we were, it was growing too fast. So so it took us time to like get our stuff in order. But each stage is like, I think up to 20 to 30 people, you're a different type of business, and then obviously it becomes a whole other thing.
What would you do differently if you could go back to 2019?
Funnily enough, I would do more things, because even though we did amazing, so that year we launched Tone and Skull for Chrissy Keller, which has now been rebranded since then. We don't work with her anymore. That was the biggest grossing app on the App Store outside of the gaming category at that time. I signed and launched a whole AJ BXNG line for Anthony Joshua, which was a big thing personally at that time, because it was just amazing to sign him. Yeah. Even though commercially, and he's not a creator and all that stuff, and realized after the fact that a girl with 200,000 followers could sell more than him because he's not a creator. But at that time, it was an amazing achievement. We launched Shreddy that year with Grace Beverly. I launched US operations, hired a team out there. So while I'm saying all that, I guess if I would do it differently, honestly, I would go harder because the opportunity was so ripe.
Mm-hmm.
And my only one regret in all the Genflow story is that I wish I did more things sooner, because everything I believed would happen in the world actually did happen. Right? Because,
Capitalize more.
oh man, like, you don't understand. Like, so, like, Creator College, my new business, I bought the domain in 2020. I finally launched it this year. If in 2020 I launched a college for creators, like, I think it would be $100 million plus business by itself today.
Yeah.
And so many other things like that. So yeah, if I would go back, I would say to anyone listening, like, everything you're second guessing, you should have already done it by now.
Were there any ceilings you hit, or like places you got to repeatedly, like whether it's like team size or certain revenue milestones, where you kind of hit that stage and you got stuck there, and then maybe you get to
Yeah, but it's not that. I'll tell you. Yeah, no, we definitely hit ceilings, but we hit ceilings in like skill level.
Okay, explain.
So, the truth is, only so much I know, and I have no prior experience of any kind, right? So even my personal skill level in running a business, running teams, managing people who have more experience than me, like, I hit my own personal ceilings in those things, and it takes you time to like learn and get through and get to the other side. Like managing a big team, you know, I'll possibly hit a ceiling in terms of my ability to do that, because I was unaware. I think I need to inspire people. I think I need to like provide lots of, you know, perks and all of that stuff. And that's what good culture is. So you hit your own ceiling in your own ability that way. The other way is as a company. So let's say, you know, I've helped creators get to 1 million many times, but if I have a creator selling 4 million, they now have different challenges, right, to scale from there. Or if someone's grown really fast or something else happens. So I think constantly we're hitting a ceiling of our ability to do something as a business. So then the question comes is, we're going to have to either slow down and like really learn this, or I have to, or if I get lucky enough to hire someone to do it. Like even now we're working a lot of retail stuff. There is a ceiling there because I've never done it, right? And then I have to hire somebody. Then hopefully the person we hire is good enough that we can do this thing. So I think the constant things that slow your growth down is your personal ceiling, and then the people in your team. You'll have a lot of people in your team that are not growth minded.
How do you find great people?
The hard thing is by doing great stuff. So, which is not the best answer, but like the more things you can physically do and talk about, it'll bring better people towards
Just
you.
attracts them, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
It's just like any trade, right? Like obviously, if you go to the gym, if you look after yourself, you probably will attract a nicer partner to you, whatever, right? It's the same thing. The more you do, the better it happens. But that being said, I think there's a few things. I've always looked for someone that has like an entrepreneurial like spark, that there's something in their life that's done that. The other big thing that I've seen in like high performing people is they normally are not chasing roles in a business.
Okay.
So, you know, if you say to someone, you know, what's your goal in the interview? If someone's like, you know, my goal would be to like become like, you know, director level in 3 years, that's the wrong person.
I feel like that's what people think the
That's the
interviewer
answer
wants to
is.
hear, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it's not. Like what I try to get into is like, what are you trying to achieve and like for what purpose?
Yeah.
And the good answers are people that are driven from like more than like money. So salary and your role title is what most people think like is what my goal is with my job. And I think I've always looked for like, what are you trying to like prove to yourself or to somebody? Because normally it's a somebody, it's your parents, it's a partner. It's something that's driving it. So I think the best people are the ones that are those. And I think the other thing now would be to look out for is someone that says the things that society is saying. So, you know, if someone asks you in the interview, like, you know, what's your work-life balance like? It just means that they've just consumed enough like noise on social media that they think that's the thing they need to be checking to make sure so their life is going to be amazing. When instead they should be like, what's the biggest thing do you think I will do that, you know, that's going to change my life? Because ultimately the right job can do that for you, because depending on what you're going to work on. So I think that's the biggest thing. And it's happened to me so many times that the person would be amazing. Then in the final interview, like I can tell all the questions are like, the mindset is all wrong.
Yeah.
So those are like the main things.
And then the culture that you have at Genflow is quite unique from what I've seen. I know you've got quite strong views on this. How have you built a culture there?
I think for me, it's for any like founder, owner, etc. Like it does come from you. People emulate you without you ever saying it or doing it, etc. I think in the early days, what really built ours was, when there were times where like stuff is going wrong or you really have to do something, there's a deadline. I would be the one saying that no, like we have to get this done today. But I'm not just like saying those orders and that's it. I'll be like doing it with them. And in the early days, so many people were shocked that like, why am I still in the office? It's late. Why am I on this huddle call? We launched an app once and we were on huddle for 11 hours straight.
Jesus.
But I was there with the team.
Yeah.
Right? That people are leaving, joining, whatever's happening, but I'm there myself. So I think it's and that's something to celebrate. Obviously, that's because like we didn't do good enough work. Right? So even like today, we're launching something, some shit's not there. My normal incline would be to sit with the team while we're solving it. So I think always the culture does come from how you are. And it's very similar to, let's just say you go to someone's house and you'll know immediately if the person is like clean and tidy, how the house is set up, whatever, right? Immediately you'll be like, clearly this person looks after themselves, looks after the house, they care about the house, look how well everything's put together, whatever, right? And that impression stays on that person to be like, clearly like whatever, this person's, in whatever way like is seen as like positive. It's the same in a business because it's coming from you. Where the CEO is like absent, where the CEO is talking down. For me, like hierarchy has just never been a thing even in my mind. Like I don't think of myself like I'm the boss, and I've never done so. And I think that's my main thing to building like a winning culture. And you don't have to do the stuff that like you think you have to do. So we did a values session. We did all the stuff that I thought you have to do, but none of it matters. I did big events. We used to do company meetings. None of that stuff actually like does anything.
You told me something a while back that stuck with me, which was connected to the house thing. Like, if you're a shoes off in the house type of person, you wouldn't just let someone come in and just like put their shoes on your sofa and just keep their shoes on. And the analogy was it's the same with the company, right? If you have a set standard or a set culture, you don't just let someone come in and completely disrespect it. Like you wouldn't have it.
It's one of for anyone scaling here right now that listen to this, like one of the biggest things you have to look out for is, you don't let someone else come into your house and do things that they want it done. 100%. So like, it doesn't matter if someone is more experienced. Like you can't let them come and like ruin the way you do stuff because they've done it differently in another place. And it's the hardest thing because people learn habits in companies. So someone's joining a company will be like, well, I've come from a bigger company and this is how we were doing it, so I'm going to do it that way. And I've had these massive challenges. And you're like, well, no, I need you to do it my way. And I learned that the hard way because I was like, you know what, maybe they're right. What do I know? I just started this business and, we made some success, but like these guys have come from bigger businesses. Maybe theirs way is better. Right? And people say, hire people, let them get on with it. It's like, cool, let them get on with it. So in that journey, 2 years we made a loss. And every year they were profitable. The 2 years we made a loss was the years that I started to believe all of that. I started to believe that other people have come in now, let them get on with it. And they started installing stuff which was completely against what made us who we are, why clients loved us. So it was like not getting back to clients on time because they didn't believe like, after 5, 6, you should be on your phone. The telling people openly, like when you go on holiday, turn your phone off, enjoy, balance. It's like, I get it. But in our world, it just isn't. Because what we've signed up to and what our service is that we're there for you no matter what. And our creators are posting content at all times, blah, blah, blah. Like if your job is to be looking after somebody or some business, you can't be like blind to it. It doesn't mean you need to be working. So we have a thing like, even if a client was to message you or whatever after hours, you just need to like acknowledge it, not to do it, which takes 1 second.
Sure.
It's very different to be like, you're not gonna start doing the work. We're just like, oh, thanks. I'll sort it out on Monday. That's it. Versus ignoring it all weekend just because like, I'm not to do that, I don't want to do that. So a lot of that stuff essentially is why we had 2 bad years because, I guess not bad. We still grew the top line like 3x, but bad in terms of like profitability because we had more staff, who weren't doing things enough and the right way. So that's the massive learning from like the whole culture. And yeah, don't let other people come in and tell you how to run your house.
How did you structure the team to scale to what, you're 100 million now, 140 people? I can imagine that looks very different to what it did at 100k a month or $1 million a year, whatever you want to call it. How did you actually structure it to set yourself up for that level of scale?
I think in any agency, the structure has to remain somewhat the same. So obviously, like I said, like client services. So you always have to have somebody that's managing all clients. You'll always have to have somebody that's managing all delivery of work. Then you'll have acquisition.
Yeah.
Then you'll have like other pockets of expertise. So the structure has remained the same. That obviously just gets more complicated. I think the other part is like any skills that you have, like the services that you provide. So let's say today you're making AI agents. So who are the guys that can actually make that? So I'd have they're mini teams who are like the specialists. Because, client management is about keeping clients happy. Delivery of work is making sure we're doing all the work. Then I have these mini teams who are actually the experts doing the work.
Mm.
And that's the separation. So again, like 3 parts to like your organizational design. And it doesn't matter like who your leadership is, who the managers are, all of that actually doesn't matter. It's more the fundamental, like these guys do the work. They're like the smart guys. These guys in the middle are the operators who are going to make sure everything is done on time, in the right order, to the right spec, following the right process. And then the client services guys are making sure the clients are happy and they're getting stuff in the way those clients like getting their stuff or whatever, and doing the calls, doing that. So it is like a system. Where people go wrong is that'll be the same guy managing the clients who's also is meant to do all the work and is also meant to tell everybody else like what to do or figure out in which order. And that's the right setup in the structure,
especially
from my experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then because the biggest mistake people make scaling businesses is that you'll promote your best person to be then the manager of something.
Yeah. Some people aren't meant to be managers. They're just meant to be really good at doing the doing. Yeah.
So that's one thing we've realized really well. So like management and ops is a completely different skill to the person who has the skill to do the work. Mm. So you say to the person doing the work is you stay busy, you do 10 pieces a day, and the person who's good at managing, you're just going to manage, but you need to have the right people. So the manager doesn't have the ego to be like, I'm going to now be telling the person what good looks like. Yeah. So the person decides what good looks like. Your job is to make sure it's done in the right order and it's with the clients in the right time. That has been the biggest learning, because naturally, I guess, what I did was I took the most senior people and made them all into like managers. And then we started to see the cracks, because it's like they just don't know how to manage a team, whatever, and they don't have the time. Because the guy's like physically coding, let's just say, or physically designing. He's like, oh shit, yeah, I need to like tell my other 5 guys what to do. Yeah. I need to make sure we're doing it in the right order. I need to review all their work, but like I still have all this to do. So we had to separate it.
Completely different skill.
And I had to set the standard of like, it doesn't make you better or worse than anybody if someone's your manager. And that's a hard thing, because culturally, the manager is better than you, right? Like that's how an organization design is the thing. So it takes a lot for someone to be like, you're not smarter than me. I may even be paid more than you, but you are my manager.
Yeah, it's just different skill set.
Yes, but in our world, in the world of business, that's not how it works, right? Yeah. You're on 40k salary, you're my manager. I'm on 30k salary, I'm the junior. Yeah. Even if I have more physical skills than you, that's the way it has to work. And now you are telling me what a good video looks like, even though I have video editing skills better than yours, and now you are the one dictating that, right? That's your classic company like bullshit.
When you explain it like that, it is bonkers as well. Yeah. Like it's mental.
And then to those people, that's such a big thing.
Yeah.
And that guy is just trying to get the next role now, and that's essentially a classic hierarchical design. Yeah. When really it's like team. It's like, your best player could be your goalkeeper, but who wants to be a goalkeeper? Everybody wants to be a striker.
Yeah. It was always the kid that wasn't good enough to play striker or whatever.
Exactly. But you know what I mean? It's the same in a company. Like everybody wants to be like, in the company, like you're playing your roles based on your skill. It doesn't mean the goalkeeper is better or worse, or goalkeeper could be making more money than the winger.
Yeah.
But it's got nothing to do. That's how it is in a company. So I think people need to play their roles and not give a shit about what the title is, what this is. I've had some people like, when they had an executive role with us, like really senior, it went to the head. So they're like, I should not be doing work anymore because I'm like executive now.
Red flag.
Yeah. It's like, there's so much of that. So I think I've been burnt a lot. And the hardest thing in building a business is, it's just that the people is the hardest part of it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. We've spoken a lot about agency, but agency is not the only business you know how to run. You've built a number of others. I mentioned a few, like physical products, digital products, software. You've got a software company. Like, is there a common thread between them? What are some of the common things that you see across all different business models that have helped you grow them?
Yeah, I guess we're quite unique. Even though we're an agency, technically we build businesses. We're more like a holding company, as people call it these days. You can think of it as a private equity firm. We're investing in stuff. Comes down to the same fundamentals though, because I guess, whether it's software, whether it's e-commerce, whether it's other agency services, it's the same thing in terms of it's commercially knowing what people want. In my agency, I know what people want, so we've built those services. In a product, I know what people want, so you build the right products to sell to people. In its digital products, it's like, you know what people want, so it's like, ultimately, as I was saying, right, it's like people want something, and we're gonna sell that thing to people in the best way possible. So there's a lot of similarity, because fundamentally every business is the same, right? You gotta get attention, drive traffic, and then you gotta make sure your product is good enough that solves those people's problem. Whether it's a course, whether it's a can or some powder, or it's your agency service, it's the fundamental essence of business is the same. And I think that's why we do it across, even I have equity today in software business, educational businesses, supplement businesses, but it's all the same stack of skill, fundamentally.
Which one's the best one to start with?
I think I still believe for anybody, to sell a service first is the easiest, because you have a skill, someone's going to pay you to do that for them. Ultimately, the most simplistic way, right? That's what a freelancer is. That's ultimately where it begins. You want to call yourself a freelancer or an agency or whatever you want to call yourself. You develop some skill in your bedroom and you go and sell someone to else that I can do this for you and they will pay you money. That's by far the number one. But I do think stage 2 is different now, that every business owner should be looking to sell their own digital product. Because naturally in this game of, let's say you, that one person gets a few clients, you want a certain type of clients. Even you today, right? You'd want a client that can pay this much and wants to grow and all this good stuff. But fundamentally, the world is just too big. That if you were to take everything then that you've done with your first 5-10 clients and you put it into a product that people can buy and do it themselves, would be the best thing to do, because you'll start to make money, which will help you then do other things, and you will start to grow. Because there are too many people.
Let me be selfish for a moment, because this is something we're actually looking at, right? We, obviously, for those listening to the podcast that don't know, I also run an agency. There are a lot of people that come to us wanting to work to us that, quite frankly, cannot afford the rates we charge for the agency, right? And I always feel that if you're getting a significant volume of leads, some of them are going to be unqualified, right? So if you're in our position, what you'd be thinking about right now is, can I set up something where I'm just like a digital product where I'm teaching them how to do it themselves?
100%. I would do a line of micro products, because you would know the angle of what someone really wants from you. So even if that's 100 proven content formats, someone will pay $27.
We sell that for $27.
Yeah. So you can sell that. So I would have a bunch of those. Yeah. Leading up to something more expensive.
Yeah.
It's just the way that's sold and everything else, etc. would needs real focus and thing. But 100%, it just means that your funnel has to be a bit more dynamic. So someone's coming to your website booking a call, and you've dynamically in the questions figured out, are they basically, we're going to sell them a digital product or service.
Yeah, well this is the challenge, right? Because we're now selling to CEOs of 7-8 figure companies, senior execs at global multinational companies. You have to appeal to them for the main service, but then also be able to sell a lower ticket digital product, something on the back end, which is a completely different audience. Yeah. Selling both without almost detracting from the brand is quite difficult.
No, because I think you should take your brand positioning to like, we are amazing at doing this thing. Look who we do it for. You want to work with us, like, book a call with us.
Mm-hmm.
So if the funnel is designed for like, we are experts, we know what we're doing, we can help you, but book a call.
Yeah.
Then in those questions that you're getting is where you can then be like, which way they're going. So it doesn't really damage you in any way. I think the way is to talk about it, to be like, we help people in two types of ways. I don't think the executive is like, how dare you sell to other people too.
True.
It's just the way you're doing it, right? So it comes across still like you are a elevated agency for larger clients. Yes. Obviously then it depends on your outreach. If you are manually outreaching to those companies that are larger and stuff, then you just send them to a different landing page, which is designed for that.
Yeah.
So there's no risk, but yeah, I would say, so stage 1, like get some clients, stage 2, like productize it. And then you're in a place to figure out like which one of those is going to work better. Because someone who's really good at content, your digital product will start selling more. Someone who's really good at speaking, your digital product will start selling more because, you start running ads, etc. So naturally you could scale faster if the digital product starts to sell more because it's very high margin. And you might be more digital product, less agency, and agency might be bespoke. But it's such an opportunity to do that today because otherwise, one by one, getting each client, like it's just hard.
Yeah. Hard to grow it fast.
Yeah.
And then you've also got a software company that I know you've started speaking about a little bit more and are running physical products as well. Neutonic is obviously big at the moment. You've just raised. Congrats.
Yeah, so we raised $3.7 million for Neutonic at a 20 million valuation. Obviously, 18 months from starting the business. We had sold 10 million at that time. It's going well. I think the cool thing with the raise was, we raised from like the industry, like lots of people.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about your strategy around that because...
Yeah, I guess it was like we need two types of people to help us grow Neutonic. One is we need people in the industry who've done it before and have connections and stuff. So we got like the founder of Grenade, Alan Barrett, which was a big one for us because obviously Grenade as a brand, that he sold it for $200 million to Mondelez. Mondelez own Oreo, Nestle, and that. So like, it's now we're like part of that in some capacity, just through him. But more importantly, obviously Grenade bars are like in every shop ever, and he knows so much about that. So that was a big win for us. So the idea was, strategics, business strategics, and creators. So creators, we got like Cody Sanchez, Kayla Itznes, Chris Donnelly that you know of, lots of others. So it was like, cool. Let's bring in some creator people who'll give us audience. So it's like, I want reach and I want advice. And that's how we did it. So how did the whole thing happen? Sat made a plan, made the deck. Me and the team worked on the deck and the financials. You have to have basically a deck which is going to like show people like why this is a good investment. It was like 65, 70 pages long. And then you make a 3-year financial forecast of like, what would you do with the money? What's this? What's that? For us, it became very simple in Neutonic. So for some people may know, there's a business called Onnit, which sold to Unilever. It was in the US. It was like the first nootropic business ever. And Joe Rogan was the face of it. So this is like already happened. Yeah. So now we're thinking we're building a newer version of that, slightly different, because that was more like pills. And it was very towards like bro science, like underground, like guys. Obviously now it's becoming more mainstream, as in the idea of like mental performance, etc. There's some other brands that are doing well as well now. And so that was like, the pitch of like, we can build and sell something, etc. That's how the raise came about, and from there, naturally, we started reaching out to people. In honesty, like people wanted to give us way more money than we wanted to sell.
Really?
Because you can only sell your equity once. So, we don't want to sell too much at this valuation. Yeah. So the goal is to grow the business first of all. So I owned 20% of Neutonic. I'm at that time. Obviously now, now you get diluted. So now I'm 17.5. So yeah, 17.5% of a $20 million company, as in like what our share's worth. Yeah, it's amazing.
People are going to sit here and be like, oh, it's all right for you.
Yeah.
What they probably don't see is you were taste testing this product like ages ago. Yeah. Actually flying into the UK, sitting in a lab, taste testing it with the guys.
And the whole thing, right? Like I'll even explain like the origin of how it comes together. Again, this is the chance that you have to be taking. So I have an outreach team. We're constantly outreaching people. Someone in my team had sent a message to James Smith. His manager responded saying, and this is why you should be posting content. His manager responded saying, oh yeah, I've seen Shan online. I've seen some of his videos and stuff. I've seen that he's helped creators and stuff. We'd love to see what you think we could do. So it's like, cool. So then they came into the office. Actually, no. First I did a call. And on the call, obviously, I got on with him. I was like, why don't you come to the office and let me have a think? And I was like, what is James into? Tell me more. And he was just telling me. And he mentioned like nootropics, etc. as well. So I got my team to start looking into it. And this is what I'm talking about. No one's paid us. Doing this for free.
Yeah.
I'm curious, free, to be like, what could this guy do? So I got my team on it. I'm like, what do you think you could do? The nootropics. James has made a couple of videos on YouTube about nootropic like products that he's tried or whatever. So we started looking into it and we're like, wow, like it's actually a big opportunity. When we started looking at the market stats, what's going on it, that actually I came up with this thing. I was like, productivity is the new fitness. On social media, people got so obsessed with fitness for years. Gymshark and massive brands were built at the back of this social media fitness craze, that now people are going to be way more like productivity is the next wave of everyone's trying to track their sleep, whatever, be productive. And I was like, this wave is coming. It was already here almost. So like when they came into the office, I was like, productivity is the new fitness. And we had a pitch ready. It didn't look like Neutonic, but it was a drink. We just came up with some ingredients and they liked it. So we left that meeting with, okay, why don't you go away and we go away and let's try to see what the best ingredients we possibly can put in a product, which will make it the most like efficacious like product in the world. Again, not being paid. No one cares. Like, did like a 3-hour meeting in person. My team has already spent time. So essentially you invest like that to grow. When people are like, how to grow, like investing in, so that's all investment because there's time. So from there, they went away. We kept speaking, put a few ideas of formulations together because I have like nutritionists, we have like team obviously we make supplements already. And James starts sending that around to some people he knows and they're like, wow, this is like a solid formula. At the same time, Luke also was working with Chris Williamson. So Luke is like the manager who's also our co-founder in Neutonic. There's 4 of us. So he was like, what if we, he introduced the idea of what if we were to introduce, like add Chris to this? I was like, let's see. So we got on a call, we started just brainstorming. At the time, Chris had like, I think 200,000 subscribers. So he was nowhere near like the big Modern Wisdom podcast that we see today. So, it was like, okay, let's see. And we decided to basically do it together. But up till this now, I haven't made a single pence. Yeah. Putting a lot of effort in. But going back to how to sign big clients, all that stuff, right? Like you're looking for opportunities. But it changed. Why it changed? Because I'm like, cool guys, if we're really going to do this, we're going to need like £1 million. And then obviously I was in a lucky enough place and the guys are like, we have the money to fund this. Yeah. Shall we do it? And then it started to grow from there, as a thing. So I think in terms of the hard work that comes from it, I wanted to make the point was, yes, easy now, we've raised, we're now a real business. I've got a whole team together. We should be, coming in Morrison, Sainsbury's and stuff in the UK very soon. And now, people look at it, whatever. But the 6 months that I spent trying to engineer this business was purely that's me where you would go to sleep, I'm like, let me sit and just work on the deck that I'm going to present the guys, because every call I would get on, I never get on a call with a client, a pitch, a client, a conversation without a plan. Yeah. Without a pre-call with my guys before. It's that stuff that you don't realize that essentially that you have to do. So every Neutonic call we were having, firstly, James lives in Australia, Chris is in the US. So I'd be the always want to be to the time zone, I would sacrifice. I'm they obviously, I've got to just say yes to it. Yeah. So if it's 3 a.m, I'm up at 3 a.m. just to do that call, then I go back to sleep. I still do that to this day. On Neutonic calls, they're 2 a.m. my time. So I sleep, wake up, do the call, go back to sleep. But it's cool because it just needs to be done. Yeah. But on this point of, it's I've always done the extra work. Like I said, preparing for a call, putting a few slides together, putting a few points together so I can guide the conversation, I can structure the conversation, I can lead the phone calls. All these traits is where you'll be able to sign really big clients because they see the way you operate. They see the way you are. You're showing them if you were to work with me, this is what it'll be like. It's almost like, going on a date, right? If you're going on a date, you are trying to show all your traits. Look how clean I am. Look how nice my
Not
clothes are. Look how
impressive.
nice I smell. Look how nice places I go to eat. Whatever that thing is, you are presenting yourself in a way that seems attractive to the other party. It's the same in the agency game. You can't get on and like you're not ready for the call. And so many people do that. I know that because when we do work with agencies and when I work with other agencies, one of the biggest things I feel is that customer experience they don't really like focus on. So I think that's like how you can do big stuff. It's all of the effort that you put in, which you won't be getting paid for, but is how you'll end up getting better and better.
Until you do.
You
right?
basically,
Until it pays off.
100%.
Creators have always been at the heart of everything you've done as well. Why?
I think they're obviously the pinnacle of our society in terms of they have the most attention. So why not? Like I've designed to try to work with the top 1% of the market because it'll be the most lucrative. Obviously, if you could easily go and work for the bottom 1% because that's what everybody does. So I guess it's just by design.
Why is it so powerful? Like because you're able to sell huge amounts through them.
Yeah, I guess obviously I can go and service any business today, so I can go and sign a normal supplement business and help them. But if I was to help a creator-owned one, the chance of success is that much more because they will be selling more organically.
Yeah.
How does any brand sell today? Is mainly through paid. Like it'll be paid, and then you get organic at the back of the paid. You don't get organic from day one. So I think for us it's just simple, like it's the smart thing to do. Similarly now, like, if you're a movie studio, why are you paying for the big actor? Because they're going to bring their fan base, right? Why are you paying for the big director? They're going to bring the fan base. You're doing wireless. Why are you paying Drake to be the headline? He's going to sell the tickets for you. It's the same thing. Yeah, it's obviously in a great place to sit here and say that. Look, with that being said though, I think one of the things for us to grow now, because I'm like, how do we go to 40 million a year revenue? Now we're going wider. Because even in my top game, there's only so many people I can work with that it's easier for me to actually service people further down the market because they require less than larger people. Obviously, if I was to keep helping someone sell $5-10 million a year, it's a lot of work and you need a lot of operations. So if you were to grow more that way, I would have to scale the team and our skill even more so. But I think for us, it's easier, it's low-hanging fruit for us right now to go and help, like, not the bottom end of the market, but still like the next 20-30% of people. People with agencies that are doing, on track to do $1 million plus because, they're in a good place. Brands that are in a place, they're doing a couple million trying to scale, but they need XYZ help. Businesses that have got digital products, we can help you launch digital products, who are really good at what they do. Because then it's easy to productize that. So like now there's like opportunities, so we're going further. So if, like, we even now people book a call with us. So there's many new clients we're getting which are like non-creator based, and it's working.
There's one final question that I want to ask you, which is centered around everything we've spoken about today. I don't know if you see. I think it's a Naval tweet. I don't know if it's Naval exactly, but the tweet is something along the lines of, if I was dropped in a random country on earth, let's presume it's English speaking with no money, no connections, I'd be able to get back to the stage I am today within 5 years. Do you reckon you could?
I think I would be ahead.
You really think?
Yeah, because I wouldn't have the baggage I have today. Obviously, the downside of what we do today is that I can't do new stuff fast enough. So our biggest is such a weird mental place I find myself in because I have a job to do. I have budgets, I have numbers to hit, I have team to keep happy, clients to keep happy. That takes so much of my mental bandwidth that, I can't fully capitalize on the AI boom. Because I will be able to figure out the commercial opportunity that works because I've always done. So like I did with social media, I can't do it with AI because, I have a job to do. So I think for me, if I had completely doing nothing, I think I'll be able to do something very good. And that's what excites me about the future is, and I guess one day when I sell Genflow or whatever that happens, because then I'll be able to sit and just do that. Because ultimately I love to solve problems and create stuff. Imagine if I was only doing that, what would happen? That's how, but again, going back to the start, that's like my positive belief.
Yeah.
Because I think like I can always do something better.
That's the opportunity.
Yeah.
Is that why you do it? Because like realistically, you could stop now, live a pretty comfortable life. Like you could sell the agency, live pretty comfortably for the rest of your life. Like,
I guess there's Tim Armu. So I went with dinner with him because obviously he sold his business. I was just talking about selling, like, blah blah blah, and even he said to me, he goes like, why would you sell? Because the infrastructure that I have today allows me to create any type of business. So you have like this playground, you would give all that up. Because when you sell your agency, technically the team is being bought by somebody else. There you completely leave, you're like, I'm done with it, I'm burnt out, give me my money, I'm out. I'll wake up the next day, yeah, you can relax for a bit. But the problem is like, whenever you want to start doing stuff, you literally would have nothing. You'll have no infrastructure.
Yeah.
My biggest benefit today is actually our infrastructure.
Yeah.
So if I want to launch a brand, I have warehouses, I have a team, I have this. I want to make content, I have a team, I can do it easily. So you would be starting from zero. Yes, you have money, but like that I think would be annoying. That's why I think, I could exit today and I think you could live very comfortable for a long time. But if I wanted to do something, I wouldn't have the people or the team. I'm quite lucky because our business is at the forefront of what's happening in the world due to creators. So it'll be silly at this point in time to like stop chasing that or doing that.
Yeah.
And I guess it comes back to just I love just solving, finding the white space in the market, solving problems. And I think that's why. And, there's nothing better than like doing real big stuff. It's the feeling of big stuff is the one.
It drives you.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's an amazing note to end on, Shan. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for sharing all that you've shared today. Guys, if you did enjoy the podcast, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, all of that. Where's the best place to check you out if people...
I guess on Instagram, YouTube, it's just Shan Hanif. I'm trying to produce content and all this stuff. So yeah, that would be the place.
They'll be linked. Make sure you check out his content. Well worth it.